Do you ever get so frustrated with a run that you just want to hit a box with a huge hammer really hard? Ah, well, that actually went better than expected. Welcome to another legendary All Skulls On run with me. I'm RC, and this is the final and 8th mission of Halo 4 Midnight with all of the aforementioned properties. Not going to die in this one, so it's also mythic difficulty. No exploiting save and quit, no edits from when you saw the menu screen there till when you see the end of the level. So here's the start of the run. This is the Trent section with the Broadsword. This is actually fairly boring. Just going to skip outside of it. Got to boost up at an angle and then you go flat straight over the rock and then you go outside of the level. That's actually sort of an invisible kill barrier volume there as well that you're going to have to get outside. You'll be able to tell whether you're not in it still by your screen bleed darkening and reddenings and stuff. It's actually kind of tricky to do that trick. It takes a little bit of practice to be able to do and get outside. But it is actually slightly faster than going through the trench itself normally because you're able to cut off one of the corners. So just going to come along here and hit one of the load zones, and if I turn around the rest of the level is there. So obviously this corner over to my right is where I'm cutting off by doing this skip going outside the level. Do have to hit a couple of load zones along the way. If you don't want to go outside the level, check out my legendary guide. That has exactly the route that I would use. It's safe on legendary All Skulls On. There's absolutely no difference between legendary and legendary All Skulls On for this particular section of the mission. So that applies there. I just thought I would include this trick since it's a little bit quicker, as I said, and for completeness, since you'll probably come across, or if I didn't, people will be like, why are you not doing that, RC? So I got good at it, I'd done it, there it is, in my run. Next loading zone is just ahead, in between these two sort of big things here. That's when the screen will pause, and you will know that you've hit it right. And you can see the final stretch there. So this run has 3 major sections. This first section obviously is the Broadsword section, then there's a series of corridors and platforms interconnected by various portals they have to go through. And then the final area is going to take up quite a lot of the run actually, where you got 4 towers, a bunch of crawlers on one, a bunch of knights on the other, interspersed with a bunch of other things. Hit the final load zone there, turn around, right next to that door. Well, I think it's a door. I imagine it is a door, sort of, it's not quite been activated. So you come back inside, because that's deloaded the end, so then there's just an empty space. Come in, shoot these things. You can actually fly through those things if you don't feel like shooting them. It will damage you, it will take some of your shields, so probably if you try to go through all of them you will end up dying, but you might just want to fly through one just to see what it's like, I guess. Ooh, so intense. And then you look up, and then they cover the pretty picture of the Earth with a big black bar, which I don't understand at all. Because it is actually a pretty nice picture of Earth, to be honest. So hit the thing in the middle, you can use anything you want for that. Then I'm going to use missiles on these ones at the side. I'm going to fly through that one just because I felt like it. You don't have to fly through it. Hit that one as well, just going to curve off to the side. Not going to go through, flying through everything. I'm approaching this as a speed run, trying to do this pretty quickly. I actually ended up with the fastest run so far, I believe. Done it under 22 minutes. And that's from when I gain control at the start of the Broadsword section to when I lose control just before the end with the quick time event. Don't include the quick time event because who speedruns a quick time event? That's just stupid. So time I worked out was 21 minutes 52 seconds. Right, here's the start of the second section. Series of big tall corridors. Whip out my saw, shoot this guy until he starts running away. Don't usually melee him, usually he's not that close, but I just thought, okay, I'm just going to melee you. And then running across, just going to rush through it. This is actually slightly safer than doing it with tilt and mythic on, because you get slightly more resilient than you are on just standard legendary. This is kind of frustrating to do on standard legendary if you try and do it this full on rush. melee him because he's scripted, get my shields back. He's always going to do that. Then I'm going to try and shoot this one over here. I don't want him to actually do that blue beam summoning. That's actually not ideal. Ideally the other one would do it and be able to get a back smack. And obviously it would not shoot me as much. And then just when I rush in here. Again, that's more possible, that's more doable because I've got Tilt and Mythic on. Pick up the light rifle here. Just keeping my battle rifle actually, just going to use it for a couple of kills on a couple of crawlers in the next area.
Find a way to access it.
Got the hologram. Oh yeah, also using that intermittently to try and distract enemies. Doing a lot of rushing through this middle section here as I was doing it. I've got a buddy! Yay! Not so alone in this hellhole with this mad woman. So this is what I'm using the BR for, one and only use. Oh no, not the binary one. Do not want to get close to that one. Ideally would have taken him out much further back. Just getting my shields back off this guy. Also rush the next section. If you want to watch that incineration cannon commander, if he runs down that ramp, it's usually okay. I've noticed that if he teleports from the top of that ramp to this final position, the portal here has a tendency not to activate straight away, so you have to try and engage the Knight commander and possibly even kill him for it to actually trigger, or maybe you have to kill one of the other knights. It's really annoying. Keep an eye on that knight.
What about the didact?
I can't hide much longer.
So I've done a lot of rushing, still some more rushing to come. This is the hardest section really, all these rushes. Picked up the hammer, that's going to be essential to this run. Kill him. Kept the light rifle, because really it's more plentiful and actually retains some use against things like watchers and their shields, rather than the carbine, which just becomes absolutely useless against watchers. And then this is also pretty dangerous, but obviously if you're just doing LASO, you're just doing like weekly challenges or something, you're just doing it for the emblem and you're not doing mythic like me. Oh, run, jump again, jump the final time. You're going to want to rewind that and probably watch that more carefully. Thanks to Michael W. Smith for that trick. If you do it exactly like I did, and which he taught me how to do it, it's actually surprisingly reliable. Like, I'd only learned that trick a couple of times before I did this run, and it's not failed me so far if I do it right. So I run up, and then I can use the hammer to just knock him off the platform. So there are 12 crawlers here. Gonna kill 11 of them, then get a bit more ammo, and then go hide back at the start near the entrance portal. This is Crawler Alley. This is sort of the most stretched out, boring bit of the entire run, and it's kind of right in the middle. It's annoying. So as I was saying, if you're just doing this for the emblem and the XP, or if you're just doing it for a weekly challenge, obviously you can just save and quit, you can get a buddy, and you can just keep trying, go back to your checkpoints, save and quit, reload, do those rushes over again. Honestly, they're reliable enough that I'm willing to go through it and use those as my methods for a no deaths run, and Midnight is kind of a really annoying level to try and do no deaths. So honestly, if you're just saving and quitting, that's going to be more comfortable for you than if you're trying to take out all the enemies. That's not going to be fun at all. Especially with watchers, especially in that first corridor. They're just flying away from you and they spawn turrets. Just ugh. So here, I'm just hiding exactly here, right close up snug against this barrier. That means the crawlers that are coming down from the right hand side can't see me because there's a big pillar blocking me from their view. So they have to come down onto the platform and then I can shoot them. I get quite a lot of protection in this little V. Crawlers on the left can hit me a little bit, but I can also see them and try and get some shots on them. So 4 more, usually only 3 more coming. So kill all but 1. I'm gonna get my shields back, and then as you saw at the start of this video, I'm gonna do something maybe a little bit insane, but it's incredibly fun. When I figured out that you could do it and I started getting good at it, I was like, this is amazing, this is awesome, I have to include this in my run. So you want to make sure it's nice and flat, this box. Just gonna get some ammo. Don't have to get it here, but it's actually replenished, so might as well. Give me a few seconds to compose myself as well. Like, the adrenaline is really starting to go at this point. Pick up Cortana, then switch to the hammer. This is very important. Get yourself nice and flat up against it, and then just hammer just above the box. You'll go back, you go flying. I actually smashed into a crawler there and ended up on this ledge that I didn't actually mean to. Ideally, what would happen is that I would jump backwards as I was landing on the platform after the first jump. You don't actually jump, sorry. You're standing absolutely perfectly still. You slam the hammer down. That sends you flying backwards. As you're flying backwards in mid-air, you connect with the ramp. You jump as you're connecting with the ramp, and then that maintains your momentum, and hopefully you would fly over the crawlers and into the portal. That's what would ideally happen. It didn't obviously happen in my case. I hit one of the crawlers, ended up on a ledge that I didn't even realize was there until I landed on it. I thought I was going to die there and have to go back to the start. But it went better than expected, and I thought that was really fun. So, nothing lost there.
Significant slip space event building under the composer.
Alternatives to that route, and I'm not really trying to be a guide here. This is more for my own entertainment than anything else. But alternatives trying to do that box launch, you could do the same thing I did in my legendary guide, which is on RCVGS. Come down to the platform, try and headshot all the crawlers, pop down a hologram to try and distract the ones that are coming down from the sides, and then run to the barrier. That's slightly easier on legendary or skulls on than it is on legendary because of the tilt and mythic skulls again. Third option, which Michael W. Smith will let me know about, you can create a little barrier of the fusion cores, those little barrels that are lined up around. Create a barrier of 3 of them right at the end of the narrow section of the walkway. Come down, throw a grenade, that'll blow up all the barrels and all the crawlers, and then you'll be able to walk to the exit really quickly.
If I do that at each of those beams, the copy can overwhelm the composer's shielding. Get ready!
So this is the final area, third and final area, or section of the run, should I say. And as you see, we're only halfway through the video, so there are lots of enemies to kill here, and really there's a way around some of them, but most of them you're going to have to kill basically. And I'm going to show you a few ways to get around some of them. So there's this tower on the right. Well, it's on the right when you come into this area at the start. This is Crawler Tower. There's also a Night Tower, and then there's a middle tower that you're just actually going to rush over pretty quickly. Then you actually have to circle back to your starting tower, where there are 3 final knights you're going to have to kill as well. That's also fun. So, binary rifle guy there. Don't get shot by that. Box of light rifle there. Tips here, if you get one of them in close quarters, it takes 4 melees to take out the crawlers. You can do it, let them try and melee you when they're just outside of their range for actually meleeing you. So back up as they're meleeing you so you don't take too much damage, then go in for the smack them on the face. You know, keep doing that until they're dead. That makes sure you've got your shields back. So hopefully you won't die from this sort of peppering fire you're going to take from all the ones with suppressors and stuff. And there are 2 watchers, once I've taken out this guy. One up there that's flying back and forth. And one over to the right as well. They can't see from here. So I was just wondering how I was going to take them out. Decided I'd just light rifle him to death. This area is fairly reliable. Like, if you're good at fighting, this area is fairly reliable. If you're not good at fighting, this area is really going to suck. And you have to be good at fighting knights as well, especially. Exploiting their grenade throw animation, getting you behind them and meleeing them. Just going to use my hammer on this guy, get my shields back. There we go. If you're good at all the fighting stuff on LASO, this is going to be absolutely fine. It's just that middle bit that's kind of annoying because you get shot up. And what makes all those rushes so much more annoying, in fact, is that every time you get shot, you slow down. The only other game where that was ever a factor was in Halo 1 when you got shot with plasma weapons in multiplayer, and they took that out. And I think that was because of a reason, and they decided to bring it in for every weapon in every mode in Halo 4. And it really annoys me when I'm trying to run past things and I get shot and I get slowed down. But anyway, enough bitching. Just gonna stand back, take out all the watchers I can. I've gone and picked up the incineration cannon that was sitting in that room. I think it has like 4 shots actually. Unfortunately, the incineration cannon is actually really useless on Legendary Skulls on. Basically, the only thing that it's useful for is killing watchers, because it's a one-hit kill if you hit a watcher with it. If you hit a knight straight on, like, it barely even takes off their shields, and then their shields recharge so fast that trying to reload it and get another shot in, that's just not going to happen. That shot was intended for that watcher, so that was pretty frustrating that it actually missed there. So yeah, after a great first half of the run where I'm just blasting through everything, barely getting slowed down by anything, get to this area and then watchers are just flying back and forth. Gonna pick up the hammer again, and just while I'm down here, decided to get some more ammo so I don't have to do it after I've killed Final Knight. The Final Knight is a commander up there, and he's got an incineration cannon, by the way. He's actually more of a threat on Legendary because he's going to use that incineration cannon more often. Especially with catch on. Hopefully I've still got some sort of shields. Have been killed by this guy with his grenade before. Exactly the same as all the other knights on Infinity. There we go. Look, I'm beside myself. I'm behind myself. That's weird.
It's working.
Okay, so this is the second tower. I'm gonna skip this one. You could probably take out all the enemies on it, but there's a turret and there's a couple of watchers. There's a knight I'm gonna have to beat down as well. And crawlers pour off this sort of central section, so I'm just gonna jump up here. I meant to jump up from that peak there, but there's a couple of ways you can jump up that thing. Either way works, whichever way you're most comfortable. Basically, jump up that thing, get over it, run across, just get down the other side and go. Okay, first knight. This is the knight tower. I think there's like 12. Let's count. 1. And then there's another one just here somewhere. There he is. He often pops a watcher. Yeah, but there's still a bunch of crawlers around which are interfering, so I'd have liked to try and get him and assassinate him there. Didn't happen because all the crawlers were delaying me. So I'm gonna get my shields back as revenge. Just trying to scare him off to start with. Oh, surprisingly, I actually killed him that time. I don't know if he's still damaged from my melee hammer when I was first attacking the knight. But anyway, do exactly the same thing on that knight. You're gonna have to be really good at this, by the way. Like, if you're not good at taking knights down like this is gonna be really hard. Because it's basically the only option. And you think like, oh, scattershot knight, Jesus. But the hammer makes it slightly easier, because if you're not getting around them quite in time, you can hit them, and that'll get your shields back. And I'm like, oh, yeah, no thank you. Have another one. Okay, final time. There we go. That was 3 knights. No, 4 knights. Yeah. Okay, here's something cool. And you're going to need full shields for this. Or at least half shields, because it's going to be a grenade jump. You can actually do this on the first tower, the crawler tower as well, since their geometry is exactly the same. So jump up to there first, and then I'm going to jump up to there. Frag grenade. I have not switched any of my grenades, not used grenades at all, so I know I have a frag grenade still selected. Then I'm just going to do a jump up here, crouch jump. Then running behind these guys. If I'm lucky, I can get 1, 2 backs max. So knight number 5 and 6. That's what will ideally happen, and then I'm going to go beast mode. Not that I've ever used that phrase before. But basically I'm going to kill all these guys as well. So number 1, this is kind of awkward. The one in the middle that comes up the middle, he's got a suppressor. You might want to take him out first. The 2 on the side, sometimes they'll just be hiding behind one of the pillars, so you won't have to deal with them straight away. I just decided to be unconventional. So once you take out the one with the suppressor, Scattershot will come in, and shortly after Scattershot, the final commander with the incineration cannon will come in as well. So those 2 I assassinated next to the bridge, if one on the left decides to pop a auto sentry straight away, you're screwed. He's going to turn around, he's going to see you. Hopefully he's just going to sort of waddle over to the right and you can be able to get the assassination, like I did. Obviously if you're saving and quitting or you're doing it in co-op, you should be able to go back to your last save and try it until it works. Trickiest bit really is getting the grenade jump right, because the timing's different from Halo Reach and stuff. And another, like, I don't know, 5 knights died while I was talking there, so have fun. You guys, you know, you really have to just like going up against a hard challenge to actually do this, because if you're just doing it just for the XP, it's just going to be hours of rage and you're just going to be like 50,000 XP. That's nothing. That's not worth your time. That's just going to be the bonus at the end. It's just the token that's making you do these crazy things. So after that cutscene, even though I got my shields back from that final commander that I'd assassinated, I actually lose mine because of that scripted explosion, whatever happened. So you got to bear that in mind for this section. Don't want to get hit by anything this guy puts out. And if he starts shooting at you with a suppressor, I'm going to have to get enclosed. Sometimes if you're too low down and you're obscured by the ramp, they won't actually go their grenade throwing animations and they'll just try and shoot at you. And if you get too close while they're right at the top of the ramp, they'll like do this move where they're trying to blast you away somehow. I don't know even how they do it. And that can also make them very difficult to take down, because they are commanders, those last 2, with scatter shots, which are rather unconventional. And that's where I end the timing, because I decided a QTE, I'm not going to time that, I'm not going to include that in timing. So 21:52, just under 22 minutes. Fastest one. And here's the QTE. It's very simple. Push forward, left trigger, and then you're going to get hit. Ow. And then you're going to crawl along, and then press right to win, basically. Press right trigger, sorry. See you next game, Didact. Bye. Next gen, I guess. We'll see you next gen, Didact. I'm assuming. I think that was too easy, and he's not dead. Come on. So that's pretty much it. Yeah, somebody tries to make a guide for this, that'll be hard to explain. So many ins and outs to this. Ask your questions in the comments, as always, I guess. I'll reply to most things. Big thanks in general for all of the LASO tips and stuff. AuraSoldier, Sliding Ghost, Michael W. Smith. Funnily enough, Mythic Tyrant's put out his first LASO guide today, all the way back on Dawn. Oh, that's months ago for me. Anyway, more LASO on the left. How about some Ledge Solo No Death Spartan ups on the right? If you're gonna try the Midnight on Legendary, have fun. See you guys next time.